Hey, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed. Flip it, switch it, twist it. Interpret the message as it best resonates for you. You know the drill, people. I know that you do. All right. Never force anything, though. Know that what I found is a lot of times the person that's most obsessive about the situation is the person that really needs to hear the message, and that's usually the perception of what that person needs to hear. Meaning, like, a lot of times you may be connected to someone that you don't really know how they feel, but you can feel that you have a spiritual connection, but they don't act the way that they should. They trigger you again. So instead of you having unconditional love for this person that you automatically have unconditional love for, they trigger the shit out of you where you want to kill them. And the reason why is because, again, soul relationships are all about growing the soul. So tonight, Scorpio, we always look at actually the spiritual energies first. Why? Because I want to know whether it's a twin flame relationship. I want to know if it's soulmate relationship. I want to know what are the karmic lessons? What are the karmic cycles? I want to know like how those behaviorisms from those karmic lessons, what they are and how they're channeled out. And because a lot of times that is what prevents us from moving forward and getting the good results within our relationships that we want to have. We have unconditional love for this person. We want to be with this person, but it always feels like we're putting a square peg in a circle hole. And I understand the reason for this a lot of times is because we're triggered. And again, we're triggered because our relationships are all about growing our soul, bringing us to a higher state of consciousness. And this higher state of consciousness is unconditional love. It's God. So I always look at the soul wounds, and I do with my deck, the Psychic Soul Healer channel. Listen to me. I don't do it with the channel. I do it on the channel. And I do it with the Psychic Soul deck. Okay. Let's see. All right, look at Joker card. So again, I don't take that out. It usually means like not just that I forgot, but I don't believe that there are mistakes. I always believe that there's coincidences, right? And there's really no such thing as even coincidences. Those coincidences, if they keep happening, that's really spirit, the universe trying to tell us something, that there is a message. So when I see this card and it comes out because I forget to take it out, I use it almost like as a joker card, as a void card. And that would be the person that you're connected to or yourself, Scorpio, has trauma, a trauma around who you perceive that you are, that you have trauma again about yourself. And when we have trauma about how we perceive ourselves, we don't like ourselves. We've made judgments. And so again, I can feel as if you're connected to someone that you might have stirred up a lot of their emotions. And so this could be really a soulmate twin flame relationship. And ironically, if you see, I have the Phoenix. And then Phoenix is again rise from the ashes. And we rise from the ashes through transmuting our spiritual wounds. Again, we have spiritual wounds, when they're integrated, turn to spiritual gifts. So a lot of times we can't transmute our spiritual wounds on our own. We can't. They're too painful. We don't see different perceptions of our situation, which is what causes a block. A block means you're stuck in a limited perception. And in this case, I feel like it's either you or your person or both of you. Again, if you're dealing with a soulmate twin flame relationship, that you're a mirror of who and what is supposed to come into your life. So when I'm seeing the Phoenix and you see that fire transmutes spiritual wounds. And so understand the passion of a soulmate twin flame relationship is what transmutes that negative energy, again, which is what your soul wounds are made up of, because soul wounds are a combination of astral energy, which is thought energy, and that thought energy is usually negative perceptions. Again, perceptions from a lower consciousness. That could be jealousy, it could be anger, it could be fear. Really, there's only two energies, love and fear, but we break it down because shame and victimization are rooted in fear. So when I see like a card like this, like I said, and it's empty, it's like when we're an empty person and we have no sense of self, we can attract anything, we'll put up with anything, because again, we're looking at a situation through a perception, not really what it is. So there's many perceptions to a situation. Problem is that when you get into a relationship with a soulmate twin flame, there's so much passion and that it feels like a magnet. And so you don't want to only be led by this energy. It has to be balanced, is what I'm getting at. And with the energy that's empty, we'll see what's next to a needy. No, that's what I was going to say. Well, where was said, well, empty, so I'm going to see what the card is next to it. And when I see needy, it's like, no, this is codependent because this person doesn't have an identity. So when we have wounds and we haven't integrated them, there's parts of our identity that are actually missing. Why? Because the law of transmutation tells us that we're energy beings and you can't get rid of negative energy unless you transmute it into positive energy. You can't just get rid of the energy. There's no way to smush it, get rid of it. Like you can't go to any special healer that's going to get rid of it. No. Now, can a healer remove the excess stress that you held in your body due to this energy? Yes, but you would have to go for a massage like every day, because if we're holding energy like this, there's a sense that we don't trust ourselves. And we don't trust ourselves. Again, it goes back to this card, which is the person doesn't have an identity. So, and that's again, their identity changes due to their perceptions about who they are through outside influences. This is what this means. This means the person hasn't created themselves. We get a sense of self through creating ourselves. When we don't, we're needy. So you have to watch out for the soulmate relationship, the twin flame relationship, the past life relationship, any type of soul relationship that you feel that chemistry, that you feel that bond, that emotional bond. It doesn't need to be said in words. It's an energetic feeling. So this is why we look at the spiritual energy first, because you could say, okay, like this person I know is my soulmate twin flame, but this is the way they treat me, or this is the way that I act. So we go much deeper when we're doing spiritual readings, when we're doing shadow readings, we're digging out the shit, in order to look at it. It's almost like, look at it and look at this. Past life. Past life means, again, this relationship is a soulmate twin flame past life connection, which means, people, that you've both been here before. Is again with the chemistry and the connection, but also with this codependent, needy energy. Maybe in the past life, you were more needy, Scorpio, and now your person's more needy. So And usually this happens, by the way, that somebody is living in some sort of really imbalanced energy. I'm sitting on my leg. Really imbalanced energy where they have a lot of anxiety. They're really nervous. They're transitioning. They're, again, this person doesn't have an identity. So what happens is they meld to people, because this is what codependent needy people do. They you know, kind of chameleon, like there's a way to chameleonize. I know that that's not a word, but it's almost like they want to, like they shadow that person because they pick up that person's identity because they don't have one. And then what happens is that they get bored because they said, well, this person was good looking. I have a very strong connection to them. There was intense chemistry. Well, I guess it just wasn't supposed to work out. Again, that would be the wound of abandonment. Again, needy. This is why we're you know, but the person stuck in that karma, it's again from a past life. It's up to you to save the day, Scorpio. Because understand this person will not walk away fully. Oh, they'll threaten you, they'll manipulate you, they'll try and do underhand tactics to get what they want. Because they, in order to be, for you to take control of the situation and get the outcome that you want, you would actually have to not be needy and be able to deal with this person's emotional manipulation. Because remember that, like fear, when we have a block, we're fearful. We're like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. Because again, it's forcing us to look deep within ourselves, question our reality. And your person has made a reality through outside things and not through creating themselves. So they have wounds, most likely from not from other relationships, not even like this relationship, but they would want to be in a relationship that's again codependent because that's what feels comfortable to them. But what feels comfortable to them becomes uncomfortable, which is why they normally like sabotage the connection. Because like I said, if you don't have an identity, and so now they're in a place of, you know, thinking about their future and wanting to raise their energy and looking at. So I believe again that there's a sense of you, again, them having this unconditional love where they've never had it, never really experienced it. Because again, this is a spiritual connection. So there's no words involved. It's just almost like you both can feel that the person is still there. So again, yeah, there's a fanatical. Fanatical is almost like, I see like there's so much passion, there's so much emotion, there's so much depth to this soul relationship that you're in with this past life. Karmic relationship. And I have to say it that way because all past life connections are karmic. There's spiritual lessons that need to be learned. That's why spirit is bringing this person back into your life and connecting you again. So there's no denying that there's passion, that there's love, that there's, again, it's a really strong fanatical, over the top connection in a lot of ways. However, there's a lot of wounds. I want to see actually what went on, just a little bit. What's going on? Yeah, one-sided relationship. So we know in a soulmate twin flame relationship, there's usually a runner and a chaser. So I feel like, again, for a long time, Scorpio, you were nice and you were open. I don't really feel like you ever gave a ton either, because you also have an ego. Your soulmate and twin flame are a mirror of each other. So even though you weren't as bad as open, you also held back, which is what actually intrigues your person. remember, your person doesn't like who they are, and possibly on some level you don't like who you are due to, again, these wounds, right? Wounds that that you need to integrate. Okay, forgive your family, and it's true, right? So I'm feeling almost like you both grew up in very imbalanced families, like where you might have grown up in an alcoholic family, or like where maybe there was only one parent. And it's not that it was imbalanced where there wasn't love, but if you didn't get the emotional support, if you didn't get the support, if you watched your parents struggle, you could have inherited family trauma. You could have inherited the society karma, that what was going on when they were being raised. You have to realize when our families were growing up, they too inherited collective karma, which formed behaviorisms and habits. And I feel like your person grew up in an environment where they weren't allowed to really be themselves. They had to wear a mask. They had to suppress their emotions. They had to act like everything was fine all the time, even though it wasn't. And I believe that you grew up again where there was not enough emotional support, but had to act like it as if it was fine, that your needs weren't met. So like goes to like, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So the shadow self, it was formed again in childhood. And so the shadow becomes the ego, right? And the ego is subconscious mind. So it's not like you're walking around saying, I hate my family, like you're not, but you want to know how your ancestral karma is affecting your life, right? Again, we all inherit family karma. We all inherit society karma. We all inherit like collective karma. That is what society karma is. There actually is no society karma. It's collective karma. It's you inherit what's going on during the times that you were being raised. So if there was a depression, if there was a war, if there was whatever the message. And so people that are born now, if they were, of Ukraine descendant, they would think there's not enough. I'm not safe. Like no one cares about me. I'm not important enough to get my needs met because there's not enough to go around. They're living that reality, and that reality will form behaviorisms and habits that are out of alignment with their true self, because our true self is abundant. Even though we may be living in an environment that happens to not be abundant, or have to live in an experience that's not abundant. So my point is that whatever is happening in the environment, and that's again, that's you tried to use a traumatic one, but whatever was going on in your person's family's upbringing. And I feel like for some of them, they were just very strict and very religious. And like again, it needed to act a certain way. And for you not getting the emotional support that you needed. I love you. So again, that spiritual connection, that soulmate twin flame connection is that unconditional love. That's why you can't break it. I feel like you've tried to walk away, they've tried to walk away, but you can't manipulate love. You can't, it's not about ownership or expectation or any of it. It just is. And like I said, and I think that that's why, what makes us heal, right? When we love somebody, it makes us change. It makes us do things that we normally wouldn't do. It makes us look at life through a different perception. Ground yourself. So again, what happens with soulmate twin flame relationship is we get triggered all the time. And so when you get triggered, you go up in your head, right? And a lot of times we get stuck in the story of how they did us wrong, or or they trigger us, and they trigger us to where we get stuck in the story of what has happened, that where we relive a trauma. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, the trauma was abandonment. But let's see what other things. Let's look at the behaviorisms, because a lot of times you can see what exactly that is. Let's take a peek. Okay, constrained. So I feel like they make you feel constrained. They make you feel like that you, in order for them to be comfortable, you need to again be the way that they want you to be, which is undervaluing yourself. And because again, your person is needy, which means they're looking for you to do something, fix something within themselves that they don't really need you to do. But in that is, again, it would constrain you, because you can't create your own life and become yourself with someone that continually, you know, you're on two different vibrations. It would be insane to try. Again, confronting. And then I feel like what happens is your person tries to constrain you, and then you confront them, because you're like, okay, I've been dealing with this for a long time and I love them and I put up with it, where like there's almost a sense of I've undervalued myself, and I deal with it where I give in a little bit, I give in a little bit, I give it, and then I confront it. And then I'm seen as mean, or then I'm seen as, again, we wind up lashing out at each other, because again, your person's addicted to the drama. So it's, again, they're needy. They don't care how they take the energy, just as long as they get your energy. They love you. So but they're not really capable of giving. It's, again, their way is, let me confine you so that I can feel safe, when really it's like, really, you really need to forgive your family, because it's not about having one-sided relationship. And again, Scorpio, you might have been raised into seeing a codependent relationship, a one-sided relationship, where that was your trauma, and now you're manifesting it because you need to forgive your family. Meaning, like, if your mom and dad were very codependent, and where there was like not really, like, again, where one person was trying to control the other and confine the other through their behaviorisms, or through their thoughts, or just the way that they live. And then there was a lot of lashing out, which happens in these codependent relationships, because you can only control someone for so long. And then, you know, like I said, it's not like you didn't try to confront them. But what will happen is your person doesn't want to heal. So they will look at it as an attack. They will be very defensive. And in order to, like, almost like derail what they need to heal. So when you're dealing with this, the best thing to really do is walk away, leave it alone, because you can't change a person by saying change, or hey, listen to me, look how you're not being fair. They're not going to see that. You have to remove yourself. And so that what they will see is the fact that they love you, and really what they need to heal. But it doesn't mean that you don't need to ground yourself, because you're going to be triggered. This situation is going to trigger the shit out of you, because you're going to be like, you love me, but you keep like hurting me. And so again, you're getting this situation, you both are getting this situation, because it kind of mirrors the codependency that you both grew up in. So the triggers for you or your person, we'll see like what comes out, but we'll pull for both. Boundaries. Again, what did I tell you? It's about you loving yourself and being like, okay, like, I can't live in the way that you want me to live, because it's not really fair. And I'm concerned about my boundaries. When we come from this energy, we're coming from limitation. And like I said, you got to set boundaries, because if this is a soulmate twin flame relationship, it means that that person, they may not be aware of it, but spiritually are ready to level up. They're spiritually ready. There's a desire and a want. So you're getting this person to set boundaries about self-love and about not letting anyone come in and ruin what you're doing or throw you off course, whether that's just if you're happy in your life, not letting anyone come in and disrupt your life emotionally, because remember, it's saying ground yourself. We're not grounded when we get very emotional, and we get very emotional when we get stuck in what people do, right? And again, or an experience that unfolded a way that it shouldn't. And nothing more than a soulmate twin flame relationship tends to do this, because it's, again, it's a relationship that's calling you to heal. So for you, Scorpio, it's all about boundaries. Like, don't let this person cross your boundaries. Excuse me. Because when a person crosses your boundaries, it's a form of disrespect. It's a form of, again, they're coming from this lower energy. Someone that loves you is going to respect you. That means they have to listen, they need to take their time, and your person is led by passion. It's, again, there is a fanatical connection. There is a very deep connection. But this past life scenario that would play out would be like a trauma bond if you didn't set boundaries. However, if you set boundaries and you are living your life's path and you don't give this person everything, you let them level up, because love will make this person do this. So this is why it's karmic. This is why it's past life, because it depends on what you do. And so I'm telling you what to do. I tell you what to do because this is a soul's channel. It's about soul healing, okay? So apologies. So an apology is coming your way, which, by the way, when a person actually apologizes, that means that they're leveling up. And they're leveling up because they're surrendering their ego. They're surrendering their ego because they were forced to look at the way they treated you. And they were forced to look at themselves, mainly. What made them actually look at you was about their own life, how their own life is bad. So they live in confinement way of living, which allows them to be in this one-sided relationship with people. But when you do that, you're not, if you're only taking love and you're never giving it, well, your heart is still closed. And so you're only getting it through physical and surface things. So imagine how profound when we meet a past life connection. Like, imagine the chemistry and the passion and the feeling of love, and especially if the person's needy and you're an empath, right? You're someone that's sensitive. Scorpios they're emotional. So you're not going to want to automatically give to this connection. You would. That's why it's karmic, because it's like, it's saying, like, if you were to give it all away, like, you would almost be repeating the karmic cycle that, you brought in from growing up in the family that you grew up in. So like I said, I feel like I did hold the boundary, because the person's coming in with an apology, but that doesn't mean that you give the farm away. Because, like I said, we're going to look at the person's true intentions now. And you should never, even if their intention is good, you have to teach a person how you want to be treated. Because again, that's a lot of times when we didn't love ourselves or feel like we didn't get enough love, what happens is that we expect our person to do it. And we would definitely expect this person to do it, because the connection is so deep. So again, if they don't do it and they don't know how to do it and they're selfish, just because you feel like it should doesn't mean that they're going to change. Okay, you are the first thing on my mind when I wake up in the morning. Yeah, I believe that your person for a long time tried to suppress this relationship, tried to run away from this relationship, and then when they saw that they couldn't, they just tried to manipulate it until like for it to work out for them, where they would be like emotionally safe. The problem is that your person's not emotionally intelligent, so any little thing is a big deal. Any little thing is exasperated. So they come across as this hard ass almost like this. So they're also afraid, which means that once they actually let a person in, they tend to give way too much, which is that needy energy. That a lot of times people that are needy, they live alone by themselves for years and years and years and years and years and do well. And then what happens is that they get in a relationship and they completely lose themselves. They abandon themselves. So I believe by you, again, not being needy and setting the boundaries, you're going to get what you want. Because this person, if you want this person, because this person, the love transcends all time and space, transcends your wounds. This connection, like no matter what you do, you can never kill it. It will always rise. Okay, like the phoenix. It will always crash and burn and then rise because of the love. And the relationship is made to transcend your mind. So in order for you to get to a place of unconditional love, which is the highest state of consciousness, will you give me a second chance? So your person wants a second chance. Let's see how you feel about this situation. Again, and everyone's going to be different, but at least we know that your person, again, look, they means that you force them to do healing. So that's what soul relationships are all about, when they're karmically play out positively. You know, the person actually comes back like with an apology because they've looked at themselves, they've looked at things from a different perspective, and they're willing to be different. Does that mean that they know how to be different? No. So you're going to have to be patient. And you better believe that what they do will probably trigger every little thing that you need healing with inside you. You just won't be able to walk away from this person because of how much chemistry that there is. Dry spell. I get tired of the dry spell. So it's again, like, I feel like here, because you're never with this person sexually, I feel like your person would get mad because, again, they wanted a sexual connection and they would get mad and throw a temper tantrum. I don't really believe that. I believe you walked away because emotionally there was dry spells, which obviously, if you're not emotionally getting Scorpio, you're not going to want to be intimate with a person, which is why your person is needy and has fear of abandonment and why they keep reliving that karmic contract, because they need to, again, open up their heart. They need to learn how to fill up their heart, heal their heart so that they're not codependent, and then choose the person that they want. There's a little bit of, obsessive behavior here too, which is addictive behavior, which we see that happens a lot of times with trauma, right? Addiction, like many times manifests from trauma. Well, one addiction is if I get caught up in obsessing about a person, it's still escapism. So your person needs healing still. I gave in to temptation. So I believe, again, they always had one foot in, one foot out, and they're still, like you said, the sense of what made them feel comfortable is to talk to many people and really these surface relationships, but they can't do that with you. They never experienced this type of relationship before. It's profound to them. It's scary to them. I think that they didn't want to do healing. I've done many soulmate twin flame relationships where they're like, it's too intense, it's too much. I'm not ready, I don't want it. We're going to look and we're going to end this, but we're going to look and see what is the whole point. Like, what is the final? What do they want? So I don't really believe that, like I said, that that's your energy. Losing you is my biggest regret. I feel totally lost and alone now. You deserve better than me. So they're stuck in this victim state, excuse me, where again they're forced to look and but I still believe that they're coming to you with an apology. I believe that this is the energy that they're in now, which is, you know, again, they wouldn't come in with an apology and look at their behavior if they didn't feel losing you was the biggest regret and that they feel completely lost and alone. Remember, this relationship was more in the 3D. This is a soul relationship. Your person like is emotionally shut down and you took your energy away. You were like, you cut your energy like in the 3D. And this did not allow your person to fantasize again and escape, where they were sitting in this energy of just like, eventually I'll get to it, but never really getting to it, never really moving, and then trying to manipulate you to do it. Okay, I'm mad at myself for behaving this way. I can't control my fear of getting my heart broken again. And we're going to leave it there. So it's not that they don't love, but until they heal their family, if they can love you all that they want. But it's again, love is that unconditional, and this relationship is deep. They, you know, so they are full of regret. They are. But that doesn't mean that they, you know, they're still needy. And being needy, they will always give in to temptation because there's a part of them that is, like I said, like empty. There's nothing there. So they will always want to control you and be in a one-sided relationship. So emotionally, you would continue to relive your karmic wound, which was not getting emotionally what you need. Even though this person is always on you're always on this person's mind, so that's why you always feel them. So, you know, and there's also this past life connection that transcends all time and space. So really, again, setting boundaries for yourself. This person does want a second chance. They are going to give you an apology. I do believe that they are going to give you an apology, but they're not on the same level as you are, and you're going to have to be really patient. And if you're someone that has a lot of wounds when it comes to emotionally not getting what you need, this is going to be like an exercise in grounding yourself, because they are going to trigger you, and your relationship is going to be constantly like where you guys are like confronting each other, fighting each other. Because there's a lot of passion here. There's a deep connection. However, you know, your person, like I said, like needs healing, and you may need healing too. So you need to look at how they are triggering you. Like I'm going to pull like just to really fast. Let's see how they bring you defensive. Again, making you feel like you can't trust this person, making you feel as if you have to be on guard. And that's because they emotionally don't get what they're not giving you what you need. And then when expressed, they're not really working through anything. So the boundaries were a big deal, you know, because it's not that the love isn't there. It's that your person like has to come to a place of surrender where they have to realize that they can't control love, that they can't have everything their way. Because karmically, you again did remove yourself. And if you do follow boundaries, the defensiveness is good because your person needs to win your trust. If they don't win your trust, then obviously like you've set boundaries so they can't destroy your life. You won't have a big open hole now, again, which a lot of times it's when you give so much to your person, because you love them, because it's a soul relationship, a soul connection, and you give and you give and you give. Well, and that relationship doesn't work out, there's like a hole left there. Remember, because on some level, you tried to fill them, like fill yourself with them, is what I'm trying to get at. Instead of growing yourself, your cup should be full and overflowing. And then you give person the excess, because in actuality, your person was giving you less than that, because again, they were in a one-sided relationship. That meant whatever they wanted, how they wanted it, and they never thought about your feelings. They wanted to keep you constrained. They wanted to keep you stuck. Why? Because it's, again, they're needy, but they don't know how to express their feelings. They don't know. They love you, but it's, again, they don't know how to be vulnerable. And that is going to take them going back to really their roots, to forgive, because that's the only way that they're going to be able to heal and understand you were the catalyst. You were the catalyst. This relationship was never supposed to happen, Scorpio. This is what I'm seeing, and I'm going to leave it here, that this relationship was never supposed to happen. It was so that you would learn your worth, learn how to set appropriate boundaries. Even having such an intense relationship, you always have to love yourself first, because the divinity in self is the God part of self, which you have to guard. You have to guard your unique individuality, which is your passions, the things which you love. You have to guard that. People will want to come in and take away what you love to do. There's jealousy. There's, again, people will say that you're not good. People will say that you're not good enough. There will always be competition. There will always be something that happens in life that will throw you off. However, when you have your own passion and you're involved in that, well, then you're not afraid to open up your heart, because you realize that that person isn't your life. There's a sense that your person feels so alone, and they feel like, again, they feel so alone, and they're full of regret because they didn't open up their heart. They breadcrumb. They didn't give. They didn't show emotion. They didn't say anything. And when they had the chance, instead of working on a relationship with you, they gave into temptation, because I believe that some of you guys, for whatever reason, maybe didn't want to be with them right away in a sexual way, or wanted to build the relationship like slowly, and your person doesn't want to do that. They want to come in and they want it all passionate and fast, and they wanted it this way, and they didn't get it. What happened is they destroyed the relationship, and now they're full of regret, because what they thought was, I'm going to manipulate this so I get everything my way. And really, we see why. The spiritual thing was for your person to realize that that's not what love is. And, when you play that game, you lose karmically. And for you to set boundaries, love yourself. To love yourself. It's why, because again, when we get put through this test, I guarantee you level up, you get to the next level, because what you're saying is, no, I'm opening to receiving love and the highest vibration. And you become a magnet for the real love that is going to resonate more with everything about what you desire, need, and want, not just what you desire. All right, I'm going to leave it there. If you resonated with this, Scorpio, let me know. If you want to win a free reading with me, subscribe to the channel, and write the word healer in your comment bar, and that will automatically get you into winning a free psychic reading with me. So all you need to do is do those. And if you resonated, you could also share about your experience. All right, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.